Good evening, I'm Liyana Hassanel. Welcome to Bizworld. Malaysia's wholesale and retail trade sales in October this year returned to the highest levels seen on record, rebounding 5.4% to 116.4 billion ringgit. Chief Statistician Datuk Sri Muhammad Uzair Mahidin said the increase was attributed to the wholesale trade subsector, which continued to record a positive growth of 2.4 billion ringgit to register 55.8 billion ringgit in October. Retail trade also expanded 5.1% to 46.5 billion ringgit. Within the same period, motor vehicles bounced back 1.3 billion ringgit to 14.2 billion ringgit after a series of double-digit negative growth since June 2021. For a month-on-month comparison, sales value of wholesale and retail trade increased 7.7%, supported by the reopening of various economic sectors and interstate travel from October 11th. Malaysia's gross domestic product, GDP, is projected to grow by 6% next year after bracing a bumpy and underwhelming 2021 recovery. Maybank Investment said the projection was based on the assumption of sustained economic reopening for broad-based recovery. It said Malaysia could also post a 3.8% growth in economic growth in 2021, as the economy grew by 3% in the first 9 months of the year. As a result, Bank Negara's overnight policy rate is expected to stay at a record low of 1.75% well into 2022, before an increase of 25 basis points hike to 2% in the fourth quarter of 2022. Also highlighted was the 2022 budget, which is expected to remain expansionary with the third consecutive year of the budget deficit at over 6% of GDP.
Life in the post-pandemic era, with COVID-19 changing the way people live. By accelerating digitalization as Malaysians look towards the horizon for recovery. What is Telekom Malaysia's role? Telekom Malaysia TM Group Chief Executive Officer Imri Mokhtar on Money Matters this Saturday 5 p.m. only on TV3.
The Inland Revenue Board, IRB, has collected more than 100 billion ringgit in revenue from 2011 to date. Its CEO, Datuk Muhammad Nizam Sairi, said the collection was a very outstanding achievement compared to previous years. He added the tax collection has been accompanied by a low cost of collection efficiency each year, which does not exceed 2 ringgit for every 100 ringgit of direct tax collected. The IRB, he said, would always formulate strategies to facilitate voluntary tax compliance based on innovation by leveraging existing resources and improvement processes made from time to time. The strategies that will be implemented include the facilitation of the affairs of taxpayers by providing various services that can be accessed online and digitally under the Go Digital for Future Services initiative. Malaysian crude palm oil CPO stocks for November this year fell 4.45% to 942,354 tonnes on lower production, while exports were higher. Malaysian Palm Oil Board, MPOB, said processed palm oil inventory improved 3.09% to 874,525 tonnes. Overall, palm oil stocks slipped 0.96% to 1.82 million tonnes from 1.83 million tonnes previously. As for production, CPO output decreased 5.27% to 1.63 million tonnes. Meanwhile, MPOB said that palm oil exports rose 3.3%, while palm kernel oil exports jumped 30.44%. Topgolf Corporation net profit for the first quarter ended November 30th, 2021 dropped to 185.72 million ringgit from 2.36 billion ringgit recorded in the same quarter last year. Revenue also fell to 1.58 billion ringgit. The softer performance was mainly attributed to normalizing average selling prices, ASPs, and glove demand following mass vaccine rollout on a global scale. Raw material costs also reduced at a much slower pace in comparison to glove ASPs, thereby impacting profit. The drop was also attributed to customers taking a cautious stance and placing restocking activity on hold in anticipation of a further tapering in glove prices. That's all the time we have for Bizworld. I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thanks for watching and keep tuning in to TV Tiga.